All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the December 1st, 2025 Rules Committee meeting. If we could, let's get started with introductions and start with Mr. Dennis over on our left here, please.
Garrett Dennis, the administration.
Colleen Hampsey, Council Research.
Harla Schell, Office of General Counsel.
Trista Caraher, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amar, City Council, District 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Terrence Freeman at large, Group 1.
Chris Miller at large, Group 5.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large.
Mike Gay, District 2.
Good afternoon, Michael Boylan, District 6.
Joe Carlucci, District 5, just visiting.
Good afternoon, Rockman Johnson, District 14, just visiting.
Okay, do we have any public comment cards? We do. All right, we have Mr. Nooney and Kirk Barris, and Mr. Nooney, if you'll come down first, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, I am John J. Nooney, Jacksonville, City Council Resolution 2023-0819. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC, Planning District 3, School Board District 3. All right, I'll be touching on agenda items. All right, 1, 2, 3. Number 4, 2025-0781, $15 million. It's a direct contract for at-large Wonderful Park. 2025-0019, a true fine next to a Noah Ray 2024-0034 FEMA house in District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3, 2025-0867, Duval County School Board, CIP, classroom in Pottsburg. It's Nick Howland, Will Lannon. Awesome legislation. Agenda item 6, 2025-0817, Charles Garrison, Environmental Protection Board, 2024-0325, Jacksonville Waterways Commission ex officio member and a Pottsburg Creek Public Park supporter next to a FEMA house in District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3. Agenda item 9, 2025-0844, Stephen Swan, former Jacksonville Waterway Commission member and architect for Spot J, Launch J. That was the former 26 feet of Catherine Street, next to the USS Adams, and had the Orlick, Jim Love, Kevin Cazell. Agenda item 14, 2025-0852. This is Ernest Smith. He's the chair of the Urban Core CPAC. That man needs to be with DIA at every ribbon cutting and shovel twirling event. All right, agenda item 17, 2025-0867, CIP, Duval County Public School Board, an input for the 2025-0019. That's Field Trip Public Park on Pottsburg Creek. That's statewide, that's charter public, that is top shelf stuff right there. Agenda item 18, 19, 20. 2025-0876. This is the Armory on Hogan's Creek. 2013-384. This is, again, people don't realize we're getting crushed when it comes to public access on our waterways. Worst ever. And you know what? I can show anybody. It's in this thing. The woke joke report. Right here, the biggest takeaway is that public access on our waterways in Duval County, Jackson, is the worst ever. So anyway, thank you, and let's visit Jacksonville.
All right, thanks, Mr. Nooney. And before we go to Mr. Barris, I just wanted to welcome Councilmember Arias has joined us. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My name is Kirk Barris. I am the president of the Jacksonville General Apprenticeship Association. I'm also the training director.
Your address, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry. My address is on file.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here to speak on behalf of Bill 2025-0781. Also, the training director of the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Joint Apprenticeship and Training Trust. NEPA is a fine organization, but in that bill, we left out several other fine organizations. Jacksonville General Apprenticeship Association represents those. The Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville, Florida Carpenters Regional Council, the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipefitters, JATT, North Florida Operating Engineers, North Florida Sheet Metal Workers, JATC. We represent over 900 registered apprentices in Northeast Florida and 150 youth and adult pre-apprentices. Northeast Florida has over 76,000 construction workers in its merit right now. Problem is, for every 5 that are retiring, we have 1 replacing them. Those are real facts. Duval County is spending $8.8 billion this year on construction. Apprenticeship programs are a proven pathway to the middle class. The majority of our contractors have also came from the apprenticeship programs, and it's a pathway to entrepreneurship. Our graduates are earning over $90,000 a year with pay and benefits. I would ask at this time that you consider adding these other programs to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now go to our agenda. Does everyone have the order of agenda item handout here? I just want to make sure we have it. We're starting with our appointments. We have a number of them, but I believe this all should go pretty smoothly. The first one is on page 6, and it's item number 6. And I'll get there myself. It's 2025-0817. We have a motion second on the bill. Would Mr. Charles Garrison please come forward? I see him in the audience here. If Mr. Garrison, if you just tell us a little bit about, say your name and address for the record, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you believe you're a good fit for this position.
Yeah, appreciate it. Charles Garrison, 1729 North Market Street, Jacksonville, Florida, 32206. Good morning, Mr. Chair, council members. Excuse me. In 2018, Mayor Curry actually appointed me to the Jacksonville Housing and Community Development Commission, where I served until 2021. I served out that partial term. Was then appointed to the Jacksonville Environmental Protection Board, where I served a few years, and then ultimately where I serve now in the Jacksonville Planning Commission, where I am chair of the Jacksonville Planning Commission. Lived in Jacksonville my entire life, grew up here. Affordable housing is one of my deepest passions ever since, my first days working at Wells Fargo, helping people through foreclosure and loan modifications, different things, hearing the stories of what home ownership truly does to not only individual lives, but families and communities. And the work I did while I was on the Jacksonville Housing and Community Development Commission was really pushing for further reach into the community and further transparency. So plan on continuing to push for those items, but in addition, expanding the reach that the JHCDC has within the city. I appreciate your support, and if you have any questions, I am available afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seeing no speakers in the queue, please open the ballot. Oh, now we do have. Councilman Salem, you're recognized.
Thank you. Through the chair, are you leaving the planning commission?
No, sir. So the planning, I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off, sir.
Or is this in addition to the planning commission?
Yes, sir. So this is in addition. So the planning commission has members that serve on the Jacksonville Housing Community Development Commission. So this is a voting member, which I would be, we have one now that has not been attending, so switching him out to myself. And then I also serve on the Jacksonville Waterways Commission, again, as a planning commission member.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Apologize.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. If not, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0817. We'll move to page number. Well, I guess I need to look at the revised schedule. I'm looking off the other one here. Okay, yes. Page 6, item number 8. On the revised, we have two different, I'll just comment on that. There were some adjustments that were made from neighborhoods, and so that's why you have a difference on which page it is. So this is also listed as item number 8, and it's on page 6 as well on the revised marked agenda. So item number 8, 2025-0843. We have a motion and second on the bill. Is Mr. Reese here? Mr. Reese, would you please come forward, please? Same as I asked Mr. Garrison, if you wouldn't mind stating your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I want to first thank the council and the chair for my asking me to come up and speak. My name is Dan Reese. I'm seeking your approval for council on elderly affair. I live at 9130 Agincourt Lane, Jacksonville, 32257, District 5. I've been searching for ways to give back to the community for some time. I think I might have found it here. I like working with people. I don't like seeing elderly and homeless people hungry and in need. I tend to make most of my decisions based on actually facts and discovery and data, actually. And most of the cases, that turns out to be the right thing. I love Excel spreadsheets. I think another point is if you make a mistake in your decision making, correct it, move forward, and always check your personal preferences at the door when you come in. A little bit about me, and cut me off if I get windy. I'm a native from Ohio. I've spent most of my time in the trading stamp business, worked for S&H green stamps and top value stamps, and I apologize to those council people that had to sit around the table putting those stamps in their book and licking them. If some of you remember that, that was me. I'll take full responsibility. I was involved both in the gift center and in the sales part of it. I have moved my family many times. We moved from Dayton, Ohio to Scranton, Pennsylvania, from Scranton to Daytona Beach, from Daytona to New Orleans to Alexander, and so on. Finally, we ended up back in Jacksonville. My last stop in the stamp arena was basically in New Orleans, and I had a 4-state responsibility for all the salespeople and gift centers, 22 or 23 of them. So I was responsible when your mother came in for their gift, that it was there for them. Moved then to Jacksonville, and I took the responsibility of our independent sales network. Basically, responsibility was about half of the United States, and I flew way too many times, so I got kind of burned out on that. Fast forward, and some experience in HOA. I was on the board of HOA up in Cashiers, North Carolina. We had 3,000 owners, and I would suggest to anybody that they want to go that way, don't volunteer for that. It's a tough job. Finally, I'm also an active member of the Sheriff's Watch, and I look forward to making a difference if you will approve so.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We have a couple of people in the queue. We actually have 3 now. We'll first go to past President Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to Mr. Reese. One, thank you so much for your service to the community. Thank you for putting yourself forward. This Council of Elder Affairs is one of my favorites, and I just wanted to share what jumped out and the questions that I send out. How do you plan to collaborate with other board, commission members, and community stakeholders to achieve desired outcomes? And that's a pretty open-ended question, but the answers I usually get are pretty off the map a little bit, but your response: one can move mountains as a good listener, a miner of data, armed with facts, and always keeping core objective front and center. One can always achieve a negotiated positive result. Sometimes it's wise to lead from the front, and other times it's more beneficial to lead from behind. Thought those words were so powerful, and it just speaks to the wisdom that you're going to bring around this table filled with so many wise individuals, and I would love to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Next to Council Member Boylan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My very first question to Mr. Reese, when we spoke last week, was what were you going to be doing at noon on Saturday? And to the wisdom that my colleague just spoke to, being an Ohio State person and an Ohio State University graduate, you now know where the wisdom came from. So that not only do they have a great football team, they've also got some pretty smart people.
I was going to bring my hat, but I didn't.
I was going to wear my tie, but I didn't. I'll save it for next Tuesday night for sure. No, thank you for taking the time. I really enjoyed our conversation. I share my colleagues' comments with respect to your thoughtfulness, and I do appreciate that. And I, too, would like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. We'll next go to visiting Councilmember Carlucci, please.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got acquainted with Mr. Reese early on when I came into office, and he does like working with people, and he's very good at it too. So when we first got in office here, Dan sent us a bunch of, he sent us like one picture of a sidewalk and said, hey, can you help me fix these sidewalks in my neighborhood? And it was just one picture, and then I said, yeah, sure. And he said, well, we also have a couple other ones. And then what followed was a picture of about 15 sidewalks all through Barrington Oaks with a detailed map pinpointing which ones needed to be fixed. He had sent in service requests. I mean, it was impressive. And I said, wow, man, you are top notch, and this is actually making my job easy. So anyways, that's the kind of, not only wisdom, but practicality he brings and detail orientedness. So we didn't have to think very hard about who we were going to put up for this. So thank you, Dan, for continuing to be willing to serve and all the good work that you're going to do for us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. No one else in queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0843. And now going to page 7 of the revised marked agenda, item number 9, 2025-0844. We have motion second on the bill. Is Mr. Swan here in the house? So if you would please come forward. Please state your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you believe you're a good fit for this Environmental Protection Board position.
Hi, good afternoon. Steve Swan. I am a professional engineer. I currently live at 332 3rd Street, Atlantic Beach, Florida, 32233. My background is been dealing with environmental issues in Jacksonville ever since I was a co-op student back in the mid-'80s for JEA in the Environmental Affairs Department. Since that time, I've worked for Department of Environmental Protection, but primarily as a consultant, working for both industry and for private folks in and around Jacksonville and the Southeast United States, dealing with water issues and pollution issues and environmental issues. And I've got a pretty good handle on the St. Johns River and nutrient issues in the St. Johns River and wastewater issues. And I take a pretty balanced approach, given my background of working for clients like the First Coast Manufacturers Association, offering my service to the river keeper at times to help the river keeper out on things. So I have a pretty good idea on how things work on the water side. Currently, I'm the city engineer for Atlantic Beach for a few more months. I plan on retiring in the springtime, so I'll have the time to devote to Environmental Protection Board. And I think I'd be a pretty good fit and add to the folks that are already on the board with my background.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0844. We'll now go to item number 10, 2025-0846. We have a motion second on the bill. This is for appointment for Alan Parker, the Director of the Department of Police Services in the Office of the Sheriff. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? I think a lot of us know you, but we want to put everything on the record. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Through the chair to the committee, good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today. I am Alan Parker, the current Chief of Investigations for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. I'm here today seeking your approval as Sheriff Waters has appointed me to be the next Director of Services for the Sheriff's Office. That's scheduled to take place in January of next year with the retirement of Director Short. So to give you a short summary of my background, I graduated University of South Florida with an accounting degree. Did corporate accounting for a number of years, held a few different corporate positions during that time before finding my home in law enforcement in 2004. So February of next year will mark 22 years with the department. During that time, I've moved around quite a bit, tried to broaden my skills and learn as much as I could about the department and the city. I've worked in each department that we have with the exception of the Department of Corrections. So I've spent quite a bit of time in Department of Patrol and Enforcement, obviously investigations and Homeland Security where I'm at now. I spent some time in services as a commander, and I also spent some time on the professional standards side, which is our policy side that deals with all the high liability stuff that the department faces. So I'm very honored and excited about the opportunity to serve in the next role, and I welcome the challenges that it faces. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. We'll first go to Past President White, please.
Thank you. No questions for Officer Parker. Just please add me as a co-sponsor and on the next two that's coming up. Thank you.
And we'll go to Visiting Council Member Carlucci, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know if I can do this as visiting, but I want to be out as co-sponsor as well. Thank you.
I think we're going all around the horn here. How about would someone have an inclination on a committee amendment? Can't do it. Oh, I've been told I can't do it. So everybody individually, let them know. Please add me as well. I was waiting till the end, but please add me as well. And Councilmember Arias as well. And Councilmember Amaro, please.
Just add me as well. Go down the line. I had a conversation with Alan. It was a very good one, and I like where he's headed.
Anyone else? Okay. Oh, yeah, please. Past President Salem, please, you're recognized. Please go ahead. Well, it keeps popping on and off.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm not sure what's wrong. I had a great discussion with Mr. Parker. I liked his journey. He did a number of things before he got on the police force, and I'm excited. I think he's going to do a fabulous job there. So, well deserved.
Thank you.
All right. Please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-0846. We'll go next to item number 11, 2025-0847. We have a motion and second on the bill. It's Officer Paul for the Chief of the Investigations Division within the Department of Investigations and Homeland Security. What a long title. Would you please come forward?
Good afternoon. I am Michael Paul. I am currently the commander of Specialized Investigations, and I am here for consideration of the appointment for Chief of Investigations. A little bit about me. I've been with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for 29 years, graduate of the University of North Florida with a criminal justice degree. I worked a few jobs before I became a police officer. One of those was at the state attorney's office as a paralegal. The other was at child support enforcement as a case agent. My time at the sheriff's office, I spent approximately 7 years in the patrol division. The rest of my time was spent in investigations and homeland security, where, as I stated, I had spent 29 years total. Looking forward to this as a new challenge. It keeps me on the same side of the house of the sheriff's office that I'm on now, on the investigation side. And I'm just looking forward to this challenge and a new chapter in my career with the sheriff's office. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Okay, well, I'm going to ask to be added as co-sponsor, please. And I just want to say a couple of things. Commander Paul, I really appreciate a couple of weeks ago, we went out on a ride-along with Garland Scott. Many of you know him, and the work that they're doing with our youth, for the most part, in trying to show them a better path. They're heading down a tough road and going to have to make some tough choices. And you and your team all working together, that was like clockwork. I know we had a slow start, but after we got to a point where most people were awake, it was amazing how the parents were coming and saying, and the way you all approached that whole process was amazing. And I'm very sure you and your team have changed the pathway and future of a number of our young people because of the efforts that you guys have conducted and given, and I'm sure you're going to do the same thing at the next level as chief. So thank you very much for continuing to serve.
Thank you, sir.
All right, please open the ballot and record your votes. Oh, I don't have anything here. I'm sorry. Okay, we have Council Member Boylan, please. Must be slow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to Commander Paul. Thank you for taking the time to reach out to me. I appreciate the opportunity. Certainly, looking forward to support your nomination, all three nominations for that matter. But I appreciate the opportunity that you made specifically to reach out to me to have a conversation. So thank you for that. So please add me as a co-sponsor.
Okay, we did have Councilmember Gay, so I will go to him even though it's not on the queue here now. Go ahead, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to be added as a co-sponsor to this one and the next one. Thank you.
Okay, and Councilmember Salem, please. You're good? Okay, anyone else? All right, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0847. Item 12, 2025-0848. We have a motion and second on the bill. Also, Officer King, and this is for an appointment of Chief of Technology and Operational Support Division. If you would please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Good afternoon, and through the chair to the rest of the committee. My name is Chris King. Of course, work for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office at a 501 East Bay Street. I'm honored here today to come in front of you guys to give you a little bit about myself, and especially honored that the aspect of Sheriff T.K. Waters selected me to become the new Chief of Technology and Operational Support, which is a new division with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. A little bit about me. Graduated in 2000 at the University of North Florida with a criminal justice degree with a minor in sociology. Joined the Sheriff's Office in 2000 basically as a bailiff over the courthouse. Then was selected an opportunity to come on to the Sheriff's Department as a full-time officer. So for about 10 years, I worked in patrol over in District 2. Had the opportunity to start a new division, actually division, but work in auto theft. There was a large crime increase in reference to auto burglaries. And then moved over to the Homeland Security Unit and doing vulnerability inspections for a lot of our vulnerabilities with the city of Jacksonville. 2010 was promoted to sergeant, and go back just a minute. In about 2008, I had the opportunity to go to the FBI hazardous devices school in Huntsville, Alabama, and became a bomb tech for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. 14 years of that. 2010 was promoted, went to District 1, worked the evening shift, and then got selected to come back downtown to the Homeland Security Division, Critical Infrastructure, where I became the bomb squad commander for the agency. Had that position for 7 years. Had the opportunity under that position to work on a national level with the National Bomb Squad Advisory Board. There was 12 of us across the country that would advise a lot of the federal and state and local teams, work with the FBI and reference the school itself. And at the same time, I was the vice chair of that, and at the same time, was asked to be the chair of the Bomb Tech Memorial Foundation, raised funds, promoted, and helped families that bomb techs had fallen in the line. 2014, I got promoted to lieutenant, went back to the streets in District 4, and had a fantastic time with those guys out there and working with the officers and working with the community out there. Had the opportunity to go to lieutenant's position in the Homeland Security underneath intelligence, where I worked there for 2 years prior to getting promoted. Going back to District 4, really good place that I love to work at. From there, got promoted. Right, moved over to the commander's position, special operations. I command all the special operations in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. What do I see with this? Me moving into the chief's position over technology and operations. I've had the opportunity to work with the budgets in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for the special operations teams for many, many years, and work with the federal government in reference to the FEMA grants that has helped support the teams and reduce the cost of the overall budget for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to take over the technology division and operational support, and even more so bring the unmanned aerial systems that we started at when I was a lieutenant to increase that technology and reduce our response times to patrol.
All right, thank you very much. If you would just raise your hands. We've had some glitches off and on. If any of you want to be recognized, Councilmember Boylan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a new division, correct? That
Yes,
you're
sir, it
taking
is.
up. How much longer are you in the drop program yet?
Yes, sir, I am in the drop, and I have 3 years left.
So your goal is to stay in for those 3 years and manage this division?
100%, sir.
Sure. I mean, that the challenge, I can see in your resume that a lot of change over the last 10 years in terms of your position. I think it's a credit to you, but also the turnover concerns me, particularly in the starting a new division. So give me some assurance of your commitment to make sure you leave this division in a sound standing as support.
So I have.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm asking these questions because we didn't have a chance to talk, so I just want to.
So yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have no intentions to leave the agency. I've got 3 years left, and my goal, even in talking with my family, was to run it all the way to the point that I leave October 1, 2028. My movement within the agency has either been patrol or within the Homeland Security Division. So most of that stuff is either me working or getting promoted. And I have a strong desire to take this agency to another level when it comes to technology, especially in the computers, especially in the software, working with the vendors, try to reduce our cost, looking where we can actually improve on our services, not only to patrol, but to our customers out there in the community. So taking that technology to a different way. We just got a brand new chief of technology coming in that's very familiar with computer systems and technology. I've had many conversations with him already. And then looking over on the operational side, I've got a strong desire to push our agency to another level, how we respond to calls for service, especially at the patrol. Utilizing our technology with the main aerial system, shot spotter system that we have, use this in everything that's already been started prior to me coming in. I've got a strong desire to take that to a whole nother level.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'd like to be added as co-sponsor, please. And, all right, please open the ballot and record your votes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2025-0848. And before we go to the next appointment, I wanted to recognize past President Sam Newby is in the audience. Hello, sir. And also welcome Councilmember Peluso visiting. We'll now go to item number 13, 2025-0851. We have motion and second on the bill. Is Mr. Kelly here, please?
Yes, sir. I'm Leroy Kelly.
Sir, would you tell us your address, please?
Okay, my address is 8443 Finch Avenue East, on the north side of town.
Okay, and would you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself and what you believe we should hear as it pertains to this position on the King Sutel Crossing CRA Advisory Board?
Correct. I'm a lifelong resident of Jacksonville, Florida. I've lived in that area about 25 years. I've been chairman of the CPAC committee in that particular area. And also I'm pastor of a church on the north side of Jacksonville. I occupied several different positions on that particular committee. I have been active in the community in a positive way. Finished high school here, went to college, came back, worked 36 years for the Department of Education and Vocational Rehabilitation. I've been a pastor now 22 years.
All right, great. Thank you, sir. Anyone in the queue? No? Seeing no one, please open the ballot and record your votes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0851. Thank you, sir. We next go to number 14, 2025-0852. We have motion and second on the bill. Mr. Ernest J. Smith III. And Mr. Smith, would you please share your name and address for the record and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Ernest J. Smith III, address is on file. Rules, Chair, committee members. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to go ahead and speak with you today. Smith III, as stated earlier, I stand before you as a lifelong resident of Jacksonville's North Side, someone who's deeply committed to both personally and professionally to the growth, revitalization, and long-term success of the Kings Road Sutel community. For more than a decade, I've served as Vice President of Citibank, where I've led strategic financial operations and overseen community outreach initiatives. These initiatives are designed to expand equitable access to financial resources. This experience has given me a clear understanding of the economic challenges facing underserved communities, as well as the tools to help provide sustainable economic empowerment. In addition, as a realtor with George Barnes Realty on Sutel, I work directly with residents and businesses in the very community this redevelopment agency serves. I witness daily the potential of the Kings Road Sutel corridor, but also the need for thoughtful planning, responsible development, and policies that protect longtime residents while encouraging new opportunity. My real estate and financial background uniquely position me to help balance these priorities. My community involvement reflects my commitment to service through the Northwest and Urban Core CPACs. I collaborate with planners, residents, and stakeholders to strengthen our neighborhoods. Through the Jacksonville Chamber's Next Up Jacks program, I help engage emerging leaders in building a stronger city. And through my work as an elder at Woodlawn Presbyterian Church, I support outreach initiatives that address the social needs of our local families. As someone who was raised here, who works here, and who continues to invest his time and energy into this community, I bring not only professional expertise, but a personal stake in seeing the Kings Road Sutel area thrive. I'm dedicated to fostering inclusive growth, preserving the character of our neighborhoods, and ensuring that redevelopment benefits every resident. Council members, it will be an honor to serve on this redevelopment agency. I respectfully ask for your support and the opportunity to contribute to a brighter future for the Kings Road Sutel community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One of the things we need to verify is the requirement that to live within 1 mile of the CRA boundary. I don't believe we've been able to verify that. I just wanted to ask you, and then whomever would like to join in that discussion. I just want to make sure we fulfill that requirement before we vote.
I currently have an address at 6240 Petty Ford Drive, which is within the 1 mile of that boundary.
When you say you currently have an address,
Correct. It's not my homesteaded address. I own properties, and that's one of my properties. And also, I work at 4991 Sutel Drive, which is literally right down the street from Kings Road on Sutel.
Michelle, would you please help us out here?
Sure, through the chair to the committee. So this appointee is up for a position, a citizen appointment, and the requirement is that he live within 1 mile of the CRA boundary. And it's my understanding we haven't been able to verify his address where he lives, not a business address or property he owns, but actually where he lives. And I would ask maybe Mr. Dennis knows or can speak to that.
Yes, please, Mr. Dennis.
Through the chair, I'll defer to Ms. Nasrallah, who actually spearheads the CRA.
Thank you very much, Karen Nasrallah, OED staff. It was my understanding that he lived within 1 mile. He does work within the CRA boundary on Sutel, which is part of our CRA boundary. Is it possible that we maybe amend this bill to include live or work within the boundary?
Yeah, I believe we can't. I believe it would take an ordinance change for that to occur, so I'll verify that with Ms. Shell, please.
To the chair, that's correct. So the requirement is that he live within 1 mile of the CRA boundary. So if you wanted to waive that requirement, it would need to be done by ordinance. So that would require withdrawing this resolution and refiling it as an ordinance.
Okay, we have a few people in the queue here. Past President Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can see myself potentially supporting, a different piece of legislation coming forward. However, I do find myself frustrated as the District 10 council member that really fought hard to create a CRA back when there wasn't much of an appetite, and had numerous people who did not reside in the area that had a passion for the area, just as I did living in District 10, and there was never a discussion of waiving anything then. So I feel a little uncomfortable with the fact that I've told some citizens no who were actively engaged in the process, but that shouldn't hold back, I guess, growth in the current place that we're at. However, I do think that we have one before us, but if there are others that are still willing, that I still know of, I would love to have a pool of applicants, and then we select the best and brightest from that pool, as opposed to just the scenario that's been brought to us last minute and we're waiving it because this one stands before us. And this is no slight on the gentleman before us. You have an amazing resume, and I really appreciate your value to the community, but so did others that I had to tell no, who came with just as much of a pedigree as you. And I just feel very, very uncomfortable with this.
Okay, we'll next go to Councilmember Amaro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pretty sure this gentleman has been thoroughly vetted by OED and is eminently qualified. And in the past few months, we have done waivers for various boards. I remember one lady, she lived in Gainesville, but she works here. And I don't know, perhaps through the chair to Michelle, the proper protocol going forward. I think if he's been put up, they've vetted him, what do we need to do to be able to make sure he's fulfilled the assignment?
Through the chair to Councilmember Romero. So my understanding is he does not qualify for this particular category because he does not live within 1 mile of the CRA boundary. Therefore, you cannot approve this piece of legislation as it's written. And it's a resolution. You cannot add a waiver of code to resolution. It needs to be done by ordinance. So it would require withdrawing this resolution, and then the administration can file it in the format of an ordinance with the proper waiver to allow this appointee to proceed.
Thank you, Michelle. Through the chair to the administration, is this the desire?
Through the chair to Councilman Mero, it is a desire. We can withdraw this. Just like Councilman Freeman said, in the past it's been very hard to find citizens for this. I was actually researching as we sit here, and we've done waivers. We've gone outside the boundary to get citizens to serve on the Kings Road Sutel CRA. So he's been vetted by OED. We support this nominee. So we would ask if you would withdraw this resolution, and we'll file at the next filing period an ordinance for his appointment.
Okay, I mean that sounds like a reasonable path to me, and I'm fine with that. We have a number of people in the queue. Will that take you off the queue if we? Yeah, we would need a motion. We have a motion and second withdraw. Do we need a ballot vote on this? Yeah. Okay. If on the withdrawal, is there any discussion by anyone who's on the queue? I know Councilmember Salem was on and dropped off, but he's on again. Anyone like to comment before we go to that vote on the withdrawal? Councilmember Salem, please.
Yeah, I'm just frustrated that he's in this position. My God. Should have been identified, come forward with a waiver the first time versus going through a whole nother 6-week cycle for somebody that's eminently qualified. So I'll support the withdrawal. I would just hope that we would vet these things and verify it and come forward with a waiver it's needed. He works right there, so I'm very comfortable with this. Just frustrated that we're having to go through this process. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dennis, we'll go to you. Given what's just been said, please.
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, would you mind working with the administration, work with us to file an ordinance in and out emergency next Tuesday? Because yes, it is a bad situation he's in, and we can work together and get him appointed quickly. Well, thank you. And so I'll make an appointment with your office, and we'll get it drafted. Thank you so much.
What's that? We also have Councilmember Freeman again on the withdrawal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to ask 2 questions, or one statement, one question. What separates Mr. Kelly's scenario from the previous person from Gainesville was DIA's rules that we were following. And DI's rules said that if they had a business interest in downtown, then that would qualify them. And so, as you all may recall, I voted no against her, and I called her and I spoke with her and told her how my daughters really admire her courage And we filed an ordinance that says now DIA doesn't have to come with a waiver when it comes to something like that. My question through the chair to OGC is that something we need to consider for CRAs so we don't find ourselves, because I was going to ask how many CRAs do we have? Are all of them, and I really want them to put on the record for those who aren't watching, who are unaware of our policies, but how many CRAs we have, and I would imagine they all have the same language. And so if we're going to do it for one, when it comes to residency, how they're constructed, maybe not. But is this something that we should consider for all 3 CRAs, just changing the ordinance, and then we don't have to find ourselves on a case-by-case basis?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman. So this is a little bit different. This Kings Hotel Crossing CRA has 4 categories of board members. Only one of the 4 has this requirement that they live within one boundary of the CRA. The other 3 are various professions, and those people can live anywhere in Duval County. So it's kind of specific to this CRA.
Thank you. So through the chair to OGC, can I trust in that you all have done your due diligence on all boards that might have a scenario like this? What I'm trying to say is there's a way that we can avoid having amazing people come in front of us and find themselves with the bright light shining and us now having to do some type of procedural issue. So rather than wait until that particular board comes, can we just do a deep dive into those boards, find language that may resemble this type of conflict, the same conflict we had with DIA, and then allow us to craft one piece of legislation that would then address all of these future occurrences?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, we can take a look at amending the ordinance code to address this issue, and that's a policy call, whether you want people that live within 1 mile of the CRA boundary or not, and certainly the ordinance code can be amended to eliminate that.
Thank you. In keeping apples to apples, and my answer would be yes, if that is what's done and considered of all the others. But I find myself, I voted no against an amazing person because we hadn't waived the code at the time. And I want to make sure that when we come forward again, I want to be able to support good people, but I also don't want to vote against my conscience and my convictions. So I'm just trying to make sure that we address all of those now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go to Councilmember Johnson. I think we know the pathway forward, so, I'm hoping it's something that we need to consider for the vote. Is that something that you want to offer here? Okay, you're on the queue. I'm just, okay.
I just had actually a question, Mr. Chair. Thank you for recognizing me to OGC. Please. And I think former Council President Freeman and I were kind of on the same page. My question was going to be, because I'm certainly willing later to help craft that language, obviously, but is that something that we would be able to do? Would it stand in, if we came up with some kind of provision through the chair to OGC, we came up with a provision that said, if there is, kind of like Council President Freeman said earlier, if there is this space, these people can still do this thing. Can we put that in there where it sits in that place or not? Because obviously, like, again, former Council President Salem said, I know Mr. Smith, he's a great guy. There's the man that he worked for years, God rest his soul, George Barnes. He didn't live right there, but he did so much for that community, but it was not where he lived, so he wouldn't have been eligible to be in this CRA. What can we put in there? And I'm certainly willing to sponsor that.
Through the chair to Councilmember Johnson, we can certainly look at adding some kind of qualifying language, like to the extent possible, like that type of thing, that the seat will be filled by someone who lives within the boundary or within a mile, but adding the to the extent possible type of language to it. We can look at that, absolutely.
Thank you, Councilmember Peluso.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Michelle, I just want to verify. So are there other categories in which this applicant may meet that he could be on the CRA board right now? Like, could we just amend the resolution to say, oh, wow, we've got other categories to meet, or are all members of the CRA board must be residents?
Through the chair to Councilmember Peluso, there are 3 other categories of board members. I do not know, A, if this appointee would qualify for any of those, and B, those may already be filled with other appointees. I would defer to Ms. Nasrallah and or the administration.
Please.
Very good.
Ms. Nasrallah.
Through the chair, there are 4 categories. One is a construction manager and engineer. That position is filled. The other is banking, finance. That position is filled with someone from ViStar. The last one is an architect or a planner. That position is filled. The four we struggle with all the time, and we don't have a full board, and we struggle with quorum, is the resident issue.
Understood.
And the rules as written, and I believe it's 219, 294, are that those four have to come from the community within a mile. I would ask for you to consider fixing this, not just for this applicant, but for the board as a whole, that we consider maybe changing it to 2 miles in an ordinance and adding a caveat of live or work within those 2 miles. We struggle with getting
or have property
board members.
All that
And-
to say that I got you, and
Okay.
we're talking a lot about this one piece of legislation. I just want to verify that, Chair. Thank you.
I
And I would
think we-
support anything else to make
I
sure.
think we've had enough discussion there that we know there's going to be action taken going forward on this. So if we could, Mr. Dennis, do you have anything before we vote? We're going to vote next.
Yeah, through the chair. Thank you so much. I just wanted to clarify something. Back in 2024, Councilman Freeman, you were the chair of the Rules Committee, and there was an appointment, Ms. Maddox, and you waived that rule there because she did not live within the 1 mile radius, and it passed unanimous. 19, it passed unanimous in Rules Committee and unanimous in Council. So this isn't something new, and so I'm so glad that this council is taking a look at this CRA to to expand the membership. But I want to clarify this. This is something new. This is a problem that's been around for a while, and thank you all for taking the leadership to make this change.
All right, and then we're going to go to Michelle, please, because I'm sure you would like to respond to that. And then I would like to go to a vote. We know the pathway forward. Please.
Real quick, if I could respond to that through the chair to the committee. So that was a separate issue. The DIA issue, they required living or residing within Duval County. That is separate and different from this particular board appointee who has to live within 1 mile of a specific CRA. So yeah, we're talking about where they live, but those are two different issues. And this board appointee would still have to live in Duval County or have substantial business or philanthropic interests within Duval County. We would not waive that requirement unless needed to. But that's a separate requirement. I want to make that clear on the record.
We'll go lastly to Past President Freeman.
And I'll close. Thank you, Mr. Michelle, for addressing that. And I will offer, since she mentioned the 2019 legislation, and I think I worked on that with you all, and we were basically building the plane as we were flying. So I will lift that burden from Past President Salem, if he doesn't mind, and offer to work with the administration on amending a piece of legislation that I worked on in 2019. Maybe 2 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Let's have that discussion. All right. Thank you so much.
One. Yeah, please extend this longer.
No, I just, thank you, Chair. I just want to make sure we're going to get him in Tuesday night per the president approving an in and out emergency. But you're welcome to work on a long-term solution of 2 miles. I just want to make sure we don't lose sight of the gentleman we have in front of us.
And I appreciate that. It's a two-part thing, so thank you for making that clarification and making sure we know who is holding the ball for each of those two, short-term and long-term. And I will say, right before we vote, Mr. Smith, I apologize on behalf of all of us. You should not have gone through and experienced this. It should have been a simple introduce yourself, vote, welcome, thank you for your service. So I apologize on behalf of us. You're more than qualified, as far as your background and what you can add. So I just wanted to let you know this is not how we normally would like to do business. So thank you, sir.
Apology accepted, and I'd like to see the levers of government working at their hardest. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Please open the ballot and record your vote. Withdraw. Yay means you are agreeing with the withdrawal.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved withdrawal of 2025-0852. Thanks, everyone. We will next go to page 6, item number 2025 0838, which is item 7. This was, I just want to bring up, just so people might not have seen it, this was deferred at neighborhoods. We have Councilmember Johnson here. My intention is to defer, but I also, if there's someone who feels very strongly about talking about it, I'd like to put this on the same path, the same schedule as neighborhoods. Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And one of the reasons is I wanted to come to rules with this piece of legislation is so there is an amendment that was recommended by the General Counsel's office as well as the auditor. We worked together, and I want to thank them again publicly for helping me over the holiday to pull this together. But this amendment, you'll see from what is attached. I hope I can get one of the committee members to please sponsor this amendment. And even though I certainly am open to it, this now belongs to the committee for deferral, but I think this amendment is important. The places of the amendment, I'll certainly take any questions if necessary. The amendment establishes a clear and legal petition window, so it'll go from January 15th to February 17th for that. That was not defined in the initial legislation. It updates the petition format. You'll see the recommended petition changes. There's also a digital submission portion, which is number 3. You'll see there it was already included in the initial legislation. This defines it a bit more. Number 4, there was a map list of the updated parcels. We were waiting on this from planning. We now have the printed list of the updated parcels and ID numbers. That's being included. And finally, the title change information. So I tried to make it as succinct as possible. But if I could, I certainly will speak to the bill, but if I could get a committee member to sponsor this amendment, it would be appreciated.
No, we did not move the bill. Are you deferring it? I am deferring it.
Okay, then why are we moving the bill?
If I may, Mr. Chair, the reason that I asked, because these are important changes according to what I understood from the General Counsel's office and from the Auditor's office. When these changes were recommended, it's so that it can go along with the bill. I understand that it is the recommendation that the bill be deferred. It was deferred in the other committee, but it does make sense to have this in there so that when it is brought back up and discussed, then it can be discussed with all parts included. That is why this was asked to be included.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I think it would be best going through the whole way through, and that's what I would like to do. I appreciate the things you've brought forward, but I think it's appropriate, since the others neighborhoods is deferred, that this amendment then come with neighborhoods and it be introduced at that time. So unless someone has a strong reason, Council Member Salem. Okay, but thank you very much. This gives me something to be able to now go through all the details before we go to neighborhoods. So with that, I am deferring this. Thank you all for. Thank you, Councilman Johnson, for your work and your input. This was discussed neighborhoods. The things that I've heard seem to make sense. We'll see this come through with the legislation, with neighborhoods and then rules after the deferral. Thank you. Past President Salem, you have anything? You're still on the queue. Okay. With that, we will now go to, let's see. Now we have a number of people. I forgot to welcome Council Vice President Nick Howland. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. and I'm not here in a voting capacity. I'm just here to for the discussion of Mr. Arias's bill.
Okay.
Coming up later. Thanks.
Thank you. We have, I believe that's, oh, I knew what I wanted to do. I'm sorry. I apologize. Just as the agenda says, because we'll get right to that. We'll go to the start of the agenda. Item number 1, 2024-0627 is deferred at the request of Councilmember Diamond. Item number 2, 2024-0966 is deferred at the request of Council President Carrico. Item number 3 is deferred, 2025-0775, deferred at the request of Councilmember Carlucci. And so before we move this item number 4, I do want to mention I'm going to pass the gavel over to the Vice President. I'm sure there's going to be extensive discussions here, but there are some things that I would like to be able to discuss myself, but don't want to do it as the chair, and so I'm just giving you advance notice. Once we move this bill, then I will pass the gavel over. Item number 4, 2025-0781. We have a motion and second on the finance substitute. Anyone in the queue? Okay.
Councilman Miller, you're recognized.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, and I'm sure Councilmember Arias will, the sponsor will want to talk about some things. There's some other things. There's some legal issues that that Mr. Stefopoulos will be coming in, I think, to help us with. There's some other issues here and concerns that we just need to get this all out and be able to explain it. My concern overall here is I'd like to see us move forward with what we can move forward with. And in my opinion, as I've stated previously, I'd like to see, because there have been a number of comments about various parts of this, I haven't heard any comments about concerns that need to be worked through on the workforce development part of this, the skilled trades parts of this. And so from my perspective, what I'd like to see us consider is what we can move forward with. We do that. And I think the skilled trade workforce development pieces of this are the things that would be appropriate for us to move forward while we work through the other things that are going to be discussed here. And I'm specifically talking about Edward Waters University and University of North Florida. And so with that, although Mary is there, so I don't want to leave her hanging. I'll turn it back to the vice chair so she can share with us the things that she needed to share.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Salem was a sitting member. He was in the queue next. He's not in the room. We have the bill sponsor here. Councilmember Arias, would you care to share?
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Freeman. Thank you, Chair Miller. So obviously we've been working on this for more than half a year now. We've deferred it twice to give more opportunity for council members, committee members to have communications with the 5 entities. Since then, I've worked with also the administration, Mr. Mike Weinstein, Ms. Carla Miller, which is also here in the audience, to kind of tighten up a couple of these issues that may occur or people may have concerns over. So I know Ms. Stefopoulos has been working with me since day one, so she's here. But I would definitely like to bring up Ms. Carla Miller to kind of talk about her work as well, and side by side with Ms. Stefopoulos. That way, at least it puts you all in a good position from a legal standpoint where we're at, and then from there we could talk about the different entities. So, ladies, please state your name and your role, I guess, here, and then the floor is yours, if you don't mind, Mr. Vice Chair or Mr.
Carla Miller, Office of the Mayor.
Mary Stefopoulos, Office of General Counsel.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll start. Good afternoon. Councilmember Arias requested that the administration take a look at all of the term sheets for any suggestions that we might have. And so our goal was to make the term sheets as tight as possible. In order to do that, we took the finance sub-term sheets that were just passed 2 weeks ago, and we had representatives from finance, the CFO, grants, Council Auditor, OED, John Sawyer from OGC, and we got everybody together and we went line by line of every single one of the terms to see if anybody had any suggestions. So we then took those suggestions and we got with the 5 different entities and we asked them what they thought of the different provisions. 90% of them were fine, so all the term sheets can be tightened up. There were a few things that were still in discussion, but basically you have in front of you 5 proposed term sheets that include all of these recommendations, and so that you can quickly see where the changes are. The changes that this group put together and are proposing to you are underlined. And I'm happy to go over any of them that you're interested in. They're not that complex. A lot of the provisions I think were very much needed. So I think that they make sense. I'm happy to discuss any in more detail.
Well, I'll just make one quick comment. He passed the gavel back to me as the chair. None of us have seen these, and that's my concern. Here we are. I know there is such a thing as committee work, but it would have been very nice for us to been able to receive these and review these before we're here. And but with that, let me quickly, because I said I would let her talk, and we've made an adjustment here. Ms. Stefopoulos, if you could share what it was that you wanted to share regarding the Edward Waters University, I believe, part of this.
Yes, thank you. To the chair and through the chair to the committee, Mary Stefopoulos, Office of General Counsel. Shortly before I came down to listen in on the discussion on this item, I had a conversation with John Sawyer with respect to this legislation, and he indicated that he had a brief conversation with the law firm that we keep under engagement, Greenberg Traurig, who is our bond counsel, and asked them to take a quick look at the proposals that are in the legislation. And they expressed that there is some concern from their perspective, at least with an initial quick glance, with respect to the public purpose behind the appropriation that's proposed to Edward Waters University in this legislation. We would leave it to the committee to decide how they want to proceed, knowing that there could be some legal concerns with that proposal as it stands. Not to say that at the end of the day that if we did a full legal analysis that we would be able to find a solid footing, legally speaking, with the public purpose, but that's just an initial glance at it, and some additional legal analysis would need to be done to have a firm resolution on where we would recommend or what we would recommend to the committee. So I just wanted to make the committee aware that that was a concern that was raised by our bond counsel, and this is a group that's fully entrenched in this area of law regularly, and I just felt it would be appropriate to relay that concern to the committee. And I'm happy to recommend any different courses of action you could take if there was additional time you wanted to give for a full legal analysis to be done, what your options would look like. The other thing I wanted to point out, and Ms. Miller, given more time, may have done so, there are a couple of the term sheets that you received that have some information that is lacking in there. There's some blank lines. I think they're trying to nail down a couple of final things with NEFPA and maybe UNF. And so to the extent that that is information that will be in the term sheets but is not currently in them, I believe the intention was to have those nailed down and finalized in time for the Finance Committee meeting tomorrow. The committee may consider whether it's comfortable moving those forward through an amendment, if that's the direction that this committee goes, to take those up, or leave those and wait and allow the Finance Committee to see them in their final form and take those up as an amendment through the Finance Committee. So I just wanted to point that out, that was something that Ms. Miller was aware of, and they were actively working through to kind of get those final terms identified and nailed down in those documents. They just hadn't had a chance to finalize them by today.
And through the chair, just to elaborate on that, there are a few blank lines. It's things that are pretty simple for them to put together, like a little bit more of a description on the scope of the training. And so that's something that could come in, really, it's probably on my phone now. It could come in the next hour or two. It's not complicated provisions. They're pretty cut and dry. And they should be coming in this afternoon. If it weren't for Thanksgiving, they'd be here now.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to a couple of folks in the queue and then come back to Ms. Stavropoulos on the recommendations that she referred to, just so we're all hearing the same thing. Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to Councilmember Arias. I mean, you called them up. Were you done asking them questions? Do you need to continue? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. I'll let you guys continue the dialogue. I'm back in the queue, so I'll get back in later on.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm a baseball guy, so I'm probably going to throw some curveballs here in a little bit. You all don't have to stand there. I don't think I have questions specifically directed towards you all, although you did make a statement that piqued my interest and confused me all at the same time. My question is this, and I hear everything that they're saying about term sheets, and I appreciate all of that, but there's still a group that we still need to create a term sheet. And so while I have you all there, have you all had a chance to meet with one of the public comment speakers, Kirk Barris in the back, and the union folks, because I would like to offer an amendment that appropriates dollars to that entity as well, and they're going to need to go through that same process of term sheets. So maybe you all can meet with them. The best way that I've been led to believe to move something like this would require us to end up moving some dollars below the line, and then do an additional bill with those term sheets attached to it. But through the chair to Ms. Stavropoulos or Ms. Miller, did I hear you say that the dollars for EWU, because my end goal was to try to make sure that EWU potentially still had something, but did I hear you say correctly as I was occupied in the green room that there's concern, there's consternation from our attorneys with them receiving the dollars for the said purposes in this legislation?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman. So yes, in my conversation with Mr. Sawyer, and I'd had some preliminary conversations with Councilmember Arias when we initially were working on the legislation, we always want to make sure that there's a tight public purpose with respect to the expenditure of city dollars for various projects and grants that the council is recommending and approving. There was a concern raised by Mr. Sawyer in my office with respect to the public purpose behind funding the Edward Waters University project. He ran it by our bond counsel, Greenberg Traurig, that's the law firm that we have under engagement, and with just a quick preliminary glance, they haven't done an in-depth analysis, they did raise the concern that we may not be on solid legal footing with respect to the public purpose for that particular project. Okay. Again, but further analysis may end up saying that it's fine, it's just that was their initial pass.
And they reviewed the bill, the bill in its totality, so out of all the entities in this bill, that was the only red flag that came up?
That was the only one that Mr. Sawyer raised to my attention.
Okay, so that helps me. Thank you. So I don't know if it's the appropriate time, Mr. Chair, to offer, but with that being said, I would like to move $1 million below the line for the JAX General Apprenticeship Association, comma, ETA, comma, Florida Council, comma, every other group that he said, per se. And we can get with them in the green room and start trying to walk through that, and then we can revisit this later on how to bring it all together. Because I'm really curious to see what this body says. The one reservation I have about when things move forward, and that's why I was glad that you deferred the last bill, because neighborhoods passed the previous bill. Now whatever happens, they're stuck with supporting it, unless they want to come back the night of and try to undo what the following committees have already done. So I love the fact that you did not make us take a stand on that one. So I've heard you mention maybe splitting something up. I personally think that there are several items in this piece of legislation. It's a good one. It's heavy. It's heavy, and I commend Councilman Arias for carrying this burden, this heavy lift. I do believe that there are many items in here that are ready to move forward and should move forward. But the ones that aren't, per what we just heard today, per the additions that we add, maybe they run another cycle and we still get to the finish line with it. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the record saying I think there's a way to still get everything through the finish line. I don't know if it's all going to stay together, especially after what we heard today, and I don't think it's fair to hold up the other ones that have done their due diligence and they've checked the boxes with ethics and with our attorneys. If we're able to move those through, I would encourage this body to do so. I'll listen to what my colleagues have to say. Councilmember Gay.
You dropped off, Councilmember.
I did offer an amendment. Did I get a second?
Okay.
Mr. Miller, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. I offered an amendment.
Lunch just popped in.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. I offered an amendment, and I don't know if I got a second. So I just assumed I had one.
You second it.
All right. So then we're on discussion.
Yes, we're now under discussion of that amendment. If you please reset on the queue for comments regarding that amendment that was moved and seconded. Councilmember Gay, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wholeheartedly support this moving the money below the line where they have time to get their sheets filled out to where we can truly make this a workforce development apprenticeship funding throughout the city. And I think it'll be beneficial for our entire city to have everybody included in this. So I definitely support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Go next to Past President Salem, please.
Thank you, Chair. I apologize for having to step out, but I've heard a couple of things I'm confused on. Was there a motion to move the EWU dollars below the line until this could get resolved? It was not. Okay. Number two, through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, where is your $1 million coming from? Out of the EWU dollars?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. Salem. Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, from my understanding, this bill is a $15 million bill. The suggestions that were made to us were blank dollars for here, blank dollars for there. There have been conversations had in previous meetings of one group going to TDC and $3 million going over there and $3 million coming. It's all speculative. So when you ask where it's coming from, my answer, being 8 years up here, is going to say from the $15 million.
Okay.
Now, if you want to attach it to something, I will gladly let you put your name on anything you want to put your name on through the chair to Council Vice President, Past President Salem. But for me, it's coming out of the $15 million, and then we can kind of figure things out as we move forward.
Okay. May I continue?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I have said from the dais for the last month or so that I have supported education from here for the last 4 or 5 years, going back to EWU, to JU Law School, to et cetera, and I support the bill as it stands today. I would want to move, if it were up to me, the EWU dollars below the line. I believe it's 2.2 million. Is that correct?
675.
$2.67 million below the line until this issue can be resolved. That would be, and if I can I make that motion while there's an amendment on the floor? Or will he circle back to me after this amendment is dealt with? Is that the best way, Michelle?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem. So I think I would like to address something else you asked, which was where is the $1 million coming from? And I think we need to address that first, because saying it comes from the 15 every term sheet, how are we going to address each term sheet?
Thank you, and that's what the
I agree with you.
That's what the council member who proposed that wants to do right now. So I'm going to go back to Council Member Freeman.
Come back to me when you're done.
No, thank you so much for that. And so we have a scenario here where we have 15 million, and I hear the sentiment of my colleague to try to take 2.67 and put it below the line. I met with EWU today as well. Will not disclose all of the particulars, but they do have a floor. So in my amendment, I would offer to take 625. I think they're at 3 million. What was their number? 2,675,000. So I would take them down to 2 million and take that remaining amount, whatever that is, and offer that as an amendment to offer the workforce. It's not what I want. I want more. And if somebody has an appetite for more to make them even or make them whole with NEFA, I will. But that was in my conversation with EWU, and I want to thank them for rushing and taking time to meet with me today. And that is the floor for them, and that's my commitment. I won't support taking less if they do survive this process. But that is where I kind of came to my compromise.
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, just so to clarify what you're saying, are you reducing it? Initially, you had said $1 million. Are you reducing that now to $675,000?
May I?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Through the chair to Ms. LaPierre, I want $1 million, okay? Only because that's what we gave NEPA. And so I just want to call apples apples. I have a colleague that wants to give EWU the time to go through the process, and I do understand that as well. So then I pivoted to my conversation I had with EWU, and the 675 was a number that they were amenable to. And so I would say removing all of it below the line, but 1,675,000 of that, I'll help Ron out here. I would make an amendment. My amendment would be to move EWU below the line, to take 675,000 from that and put it towards the other workforce initiative. Or do I need separate ones for that?
So through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, if you want to take dollars that are, this legislation has proposing to give to EWU and you want to give them to some other group or organization that is not identified in this legislation, you need a separate term sheet attached to that today.
And they're going to go in the green room per our conversation earlier and make the sausage. So hopefully they should have all of that done. It's pretty easy, I've been told.
All right, I'm going to move, while you guys ponder that, I'm going to move back to Council Member Salem, please.
We have an amendment on the floor by Councilmember Freeman to take $675,000 out of the EWU appropriation for the workforce development program. I would ask EWU to come to the podium, whoever's representing them. Sir, can you come up and identify yourself?
Michael West, Edward Waters University, address on file.
Through the chair to Dr. West, it's been suggested that you are okay with a $2 million appropriation, that will get you where you need to be to build your community center. Is that accurate?
Yes, we have a floor because specifically that money was allocated to pre-construction design, planning, and so that is our floor, and we would be amenable to that to make this.
So the answer is yes.
Yes,
just we're okay.
Yes.
Okay. No, I just want to get it on the record. Just want to get it on the record. Okay. So, well, then I would. Let's deal with yours, and then I would move the $2 million below the line after your amendment is dealt with. If you'll come back to me, Chair, I'll move the $2 million below the line until we get further clarification from OGC.
All right, we've got a number of speakers on the queue. A few just popped off. I just want to make sure we don't miss anyone. They're on and off. So I'm not really sure, but. Councilmember Arias, you said you wanted to wait till last, but it seems like we've got a lot of people coming on here. Councilmember Howland, you were on, but you came off. Okay, Councilmember Arias, please. Yeah, thank you for patiently going through all this back and forth. Yeah, please.
Chair, thank you for that. Yeah, I think this is a win for the community, for everybody. From day one, when I've had the public notice meetings with the pipe fitters and the electrical group, I said, we got to figure out a way to get you guys there. Maybe not in this legislation, maybe in another one, but through the hard work and deferring this multiple times, we've had that conversation. And thanks to Mr. Freeman, including them into this, I think this is a win all across the board. EWU, they're open to this, so I have no reservations at all with this. So $675,000 will go to the pipe fitters, which is the Jacksonville Plumbing and Pipe Fitters Apprenticeship Training Program. I think that the term sheets, Mr. Freeman, will not be as easy as sausage making in 30 minutes. However, What's going to probably have to happen is both EW and the pipe fitters will have to be put below the line, and then at some other point, they're going to have separate legislation to come up. You could obviously spearhead that yourself too. All I ask is that you guys, I think the work, the sausage making has been done over here now. So I think we should, if you guys are okay with it, let's move forward with this, because we've had all these entities here for months. And I think it's time for us to bring it home now. Thank you so much for all your work, all of you guys. I really mean it. Thank you.
We had Mr. Peterson. You're in the queue here.
Through the chair, I just want to clarify, because the three of us over here are a little confused on the amendment. So it'll be $675,000, and is this to the Joint Apprenticeship and Training Trust, Local Union 234? Is this just to the pipe fitters union? We just need to clarify exactly who this is going towards. We'll put that below the line and then work out a term sheet to be brought back as separate legislation at a date later.
Yeah, please, Councilmember Freeman. Oh, okay. We'll go over to the bill sponsor, Councilmember Arias.
Thank you, Chair. I think, once again, because the term sheets haven't developed, and that question right there is so vague, like we don't know where to put it at, I think just having a category towards apprenticeship and putting it below the line for that, obviously with the understanding that none of us will touch that, and then at some point soon, they can start working on that, because there is no exact entity that we're going to give it to. It's probably going to be a combination of a couple of different ones, and that's for them to decide that term sheet. So I would just suggest creating a below the line for apprenticeship training program, very vague, and then today work on that term sheet. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back to Past President Freeman, please.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Barris, if you can come up, and I threw a curveball earlier, now I'm going to throw a change up as well, because we're moving EWU below the line, not because necessarily the actions up here, but because of the concern that we've heard from our legal. If they do not scratch the itch of our legal, those dollars are still there. My question is can I want to do something in my amendment that also protects those dollars either to the savings, goes into our general fund, or a portion. I want to offer an amendment. I want to add to my amendment to say, if they do not pass muster with legal, and that remaining $2 million is there, and I got him up to tell you how it's going to be broken down, that another, I'm not a math major, I'm a PE major, but 220, what is it, 325 makes them whole at $1 million, NEF $1 million, they're at $1 million, and then the remaining balance gets swept into our general fund. Can I do that through the chair to auditors and legals? No. So what happens to those dollars?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman. So if you put the $2 billion for EW below the line and the $675 for this gentleman's organization below the line, somebody will work with him to figure out a term sheet, bring back a piece of legislation for the $675. If it's later determined that EW cannot proceed forward, that $2 million then becomes available for any purpose, which if you wanted to do the $325, you would just work on another term sheet for an additional $325,000, or amend the then approved $675 term sheet to incorporate the $325.
But I couldn't do something in the
Not a contingent on type thing.
May I ask why? No, I'm
Okay.
All right.
Yes, please.
Through the chair to Mr. Barris, can you elaborate on the breakdown per the term sheets? I was hoping that you all were able to do that in the room, but and talk through it. But if you're prepared now or able now, Mr. Phillips Peterson, can you ask those questions again? If that's it, okay, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Through the chair to Mr. Barris, the biggest issue we have is just if Councilmember Freeman wants to direct it to a specific entity, what is that entity's name? If we don't know the specific entity, we can take the approach suggested by Councilmember Arias and just put it in a contingency for apprenticeships, and then we can work out the details of that at a later date with you. But
yes, sir. Through the chair, I could answer that. So there's 5 entities that fall under the Jacksonville General Apprenticeship Association. That is the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Electrical Training Alliance, the North Florida Carpenters, North Florida Sheet Metal Workers, and the operating engineers as well. They are all 5 separate registered apprenticeship entities. And the Jacksonville General is more of an umbrella that encompasses all of those programs as well.
So through the chair to the committee, based on that, my recommendation would be to follow Councilmember Arias' suggestion to put it into a contingency for apprenticeships so that we can determine how much is going to, because it sounds like we're going to have 5 separate term sheets, given that there are 5 separate legal entities.
Mr. Barris, I want to ask you, because you had submitted a couple of handouts that had been circulated in the various committees twice now, and in one of those, you elaborated on the building expansion project, and I think that's what they're trying to get at. Who is the appropriate organization that's overseeing that expansion project of your apprenticeship program building that you have already raised, I believe, $2 million for, and you had laid out what that money would be for? If there's an entity in charge of that, I think that's really what Mr. Peterson is asking for.
Okay, so as I'm aware right now to the chair, the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters are in the middle of a $4 million expansion right now. And that's the organization that I'm the director of. We're self-funding $2 million of that, and we are borrowing $2 million as the construction progress goes on currently. The sheet metal workers are also in the middle of an expansion as well. I couldn't speak per se on that. They would have to speak on that. But yes, sir, that's the sheet that I had sent out originally on the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters.
And what you have listed here, I have the handout you gave out. Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, JATT, Joint Apprenticeship and Training Trust, Building Expansion Project. That's what you have listed here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. If Michelle or Mr. Peterson, someone would like to help us out here with where we are now on the stated amendment.
So through the chair to the committee, I believe the amendment is to put $2 million associated with Edward Waters below the line for Edward Waters until that can be worked out. The other part would be to take the other $675,000 that was for Edward Waters and put it below the line for an apprenticeship program for the details to be worked out with Mr. Barris by whichever council member wants to pursue that. And that would be the crux of Councilmember Freeman's amendment.
Okay. Yeah, we need a second on that. We have a motion and second on that amendment. We have Councilmember Amaro in the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for a quick clarification, and I'm going to support the amendment because I think that's the direction we're going. Of the $675,000, is that going to be used for training or is that going to be used for infrastructure needs, given the questions that you asked a second ago? Mr. Barris or whomever, is this money going to be used for training or is it going to be used to complete the building that's taking place among the different bodies?
I guess through the chair, if I can, because I don't know where we're at with the different amendments. I guess I'm still confused. Are we dealing with the 5 entities, my entity and the sheet metal workers?
Through the chair, my understanding as to where we are, 675 is going to be set aside, and that's obviously is going to be divided among you guys because we don't want to be in the position of just giving you all the 675. My question for clarity is, will that 675 be used for training or will it be used to complete the infrastructure projects that are already on the way?
Yes, sir. Through the chair, I would say that in our case, I would absolutely use it for training. Pipe fitting is an expensive trade to learn right now. Our consumables have gone up by 26% in pipe welding, as an example. Copper is going through the roof, as I'm sure we're about to find out through the Jaguar Expansion Stadium. Again, at this point in time, I would 100% allocate that towards training.
Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you. I just heard him say he can support it, so I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the queue? This is it's a voice vote amendment, correct? Okay, all those in favor of the Freeman amendment, please signify by saying yay. All those opposed, no. The amendment is approved. I have a motion second on the substitute, finance substitute as amended. Anyone in the queue? Yes, Vice President Howland, please.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. I did get on the queue during Mr. Freeman's amendment when he first introduced it because I had a question about the funding source, but now that was resolved. But I am on the queue, or I would like to speak on this finance substitute. And the reason I want to speak on it is the last action we took before the amendment you just did was 2 weeks ago in Finance Committee where, among other things in the substitute, we basically took $3 million from TDC, leaving $3 million in the account created by, I want to say, 2025 385 ECHO. So immediately after that, I introduced a bill. And that bill is running through Finance and Neighborhoods right now. It's 2025-0873. And what that does is take the $3 million saved from TDC and put it towards a obligated completion grant for next year, specifically the Rise Doro grant downtown, which effectively reduces our budget deficit for next year from $67 million to $64 million. So we had discussed options for what to do with that $3 million during Finance Committee, and one of the options was just put it in the Budget Stabilization Fund. But to me, that didn't go towards what I think, personally, some believe affordable housing might be, others believe workforce development, others believe higher education. But I think one of the most pressing issues facing taxpayers is our city's $67 million deficit next year, because we have to be good, responsible stewards of taxpayer money. So putting it just into a budget stabilization fund wouldn't directly reduce next year's budget deficit, but prepaying, effectively, one of the completion grants, which is causing that budget deficit next year, reduces our budget deficit down. So you'll see 2025-0873 travel through the regular legislative process, and that repurposes that $3 million. And I just wanted that known because, again, it's related to this finance substitute and the action we took. If anyone has any questions for the mechanism for how applying $3 million towards the obligated Rise Doro grant for next year reduces the budget deficit, Mr. Peterson can answer them. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Schell, I think you have something to ask and clarify, please.
Yeah, to the chair. So, you all may want to discuss further and entertain further amendments, but if you don't, after you voice vote on this, I would like to know if you want to roll this up into a rule substitute. So just if you'll keep that in mind, depending on where this all goes.
I do have a question. I don't see anyone else in the queue right now. I wanted to clarify. Someone brought up TDC and the $3 million, and where are we with this bill and with the financial part of this on that $3 million that do we have that resolved with the TDC board? Is there something more going on there, and does that change the $15 million? I'd just like some clarification, if I could, on that.
Through the chair, see, the council members picked up the microphone, but so the TDC doesn't meet until December 11th. So in order for this bill to get out this year, you will need to pass that at your December 9th council meeting. So you would not have heard from the TDC. The use of the TDC dollars for the UNF project has been determined that if the council makes a determination that the use of the TDC dollars is for the promotion of tourism, that's an allowable expenditure because it's a publicly owned, open to the public facility. So it meets the requirements of the Florida statute. But from a TDC perspective, they have not weighed in on the use of these dollars for this purpose because they have not had a board meeting since this discussion became available, and they don't meet until after your council meeting next week.
Okay, we have a number of people in the queue, so we'll just roll through. Councilmember Gay, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To get clarity here, so we are looking, taking $3 million from the TDC and, if I may, to the Vice Chair, or Mr. Peterson, who...
Yes, sir, through the chair to Councilmember Gay. So as part of the substitute that is before you currently, it does take $3 million from TDC reserves, which they have $7+ million in their reserves, and would use that $3 million to contribute to the UNF project. Therefore, $3 million that is in this bill as originally filed would then be freed up to then go and do what Councilmember Howland said. He introduced a bill to fund the Rise Doro completion grant next year.
So this will be bringing this bill down to $12 million?
It brings the bill actually still stays at 15 million but it's 12 million of the funding source that Councilmember Arias proposed, and then 3 million from TDC, so it's still a $15 million bill.
Okay, so are we, I guess we are re-identifying who's going to receive the money now to the Rise Doro into this $15 million bill. Okay. The other concern I have is now that we are looking to do this action based on a TDC money, but we've got a TDC board that hasn't weighed in and voiced their concerns on it. Do we need to move this money below the line until the TDC can vote on this to see if it's they're agreeable to it? I'm uncomfortable with moving. We got a board and we're going to move forward without the board action on it. So that's my concern on it. And so I'll look to hear some more discussion, and then if we need to do an amendment, we will. But I want to get some discussion on it.
Thank you. We'll go next to Councilmember Arias, please.
Thank you, Chair. And Mr. Gay, we had that question asked during finance a couple weeks ago. I'll have Mr. Peterson kind of clarify this, but just in a nutshell, the TDC dollars, they have over $7 million in the reserves. The dollars are only used for 4 specific items, of which one of them is for this public use facility for the UNF Stadium. And UNF spoke on this last week, how they're going to literally make this ROI, like just maximize it because of the tourism that they're going to bring. These dollars from the TDC, they get replenished every year through the bed tax. And then on top of that, if we put more stimulus in the economy for tourism, it would even increase even more. So don't see it as of us depleting from it. It's actually using the money to reinvest, to bring more money into it, number one. Number two, even though the TDC board has not met, just keep in mind that we have past, current, and vice president on the TDC board, Mr. Howland, Carrico, and Mr. White. I don't know, I haven't heard from Mr. White, but I will tell you from the conversations we have in other committees, they're in favor of this. And the last thing is, just keep in mind the TDC dollars belong to us as a council. So we make the ultimate determination. While it's good to have weigh-in from them, at this point, at this juncture that we're in right now, this ROI-wise, it is the best use for the dollars and also for our community as well, too. So for us to actually reinvest into our community using dollars that are really only for 4 uses here in the TDC. So you can't just use TDC for random things. There are literally 4 specific uses only, and this is one of them, which is hard to find. So if you have any other questions, Mr. Peterson or Michelle could actually chime in on that part for at least the TDC board component. But like I said, we have Mr. White, Carrico, and Howland, all 3 sitting on the board. Thank you.
Councilmember Salem, you came off and went back on, so I want to make sure we don't miss you.
Thank you. And now I should also say Councilmember Freeman and I also served on TDC prior to the rest of us. That $7 million, which is now potentially going down to 7.2 to 4.2, has always been there, to my understanding, for a major event or something that should come to Jacksonville that was not foreseen that we could potentially fund. What that might be, I have no idea, but it would have to be a very major event. It's unfortunate that we're taking this action before the TDC acts upon it, but I think it's important that we get this out at the meeting coming up, the council meeting, and I'm sure our colleagues on TDC can explain to them why we took the action the way that we did. I think they're fully aware of it. I mean, this has been debated for 2 months now, it seems like. So it's not like they're not aware of what we're doing. I see Carol out there at all our meetings, so I'm sure she's kept everyone involved. The chair of that board is President Carrico, so keep that in mind as well. So I think $4 million is a good amount of dollars to keep there. I would not want to go much below that in order that they're fully prepared for that unforeseen event that may come to Jacksonville. So I would say let's move forward with this, and I think we're in a good position. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We'll go next to past President Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the auditors, one question, then I want to respond to my colleagues to my right. When they split the $6 million and made it 3 and 3, and then I have a council member that says he's already filed a bill to utilize that 3 to go towards Dora. What's different than me trying to file a bill to move forward? Is it because we moved it below the line?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, I don't think there's anything different in you filing a bill. If you're referencing the conversation we had earlier about a contingency plan, that's where I think the problem comes in. There's nothing that stops you from filing a bill to just automatically pull money from that is below the line, or in this case, this $15 million.
No, so I understand. So if I wanted to file a bill, and I hope Mary's listening right now, so no one beats me to this, for $2 million in case, and I'm saying if EWU made it through the wash, then I'd withdraw it. But if I wanted to file a bill right now for that $2 million, because to me, I think it's important that if we're doing it for NEFPA, we do the same for the other, to get it $1 million. And I believe the NEFPA one was a building that they were doing workforce training in, which is probably similar to what that organization is going to do. So that's the first thing that I wanted to put on the record, Mary, and I would like to have that crafted and drafted and filed. The next question that I have, and for me, I sense that moving things below the line is the best case instead of separating it. I thought maybe this body would go in the direction of separating bills and allowing them to go. I did serve on TDC. Councilmember Gay brings up a great point, and I do always want to respect the time that volunteers take to serve on boards, and many of you up here have been volunteers on boards. I've been one on the board as well. I'm very confident that that board, when they look at the dollars, I know what $1.4 million did for them 4 or 5 years ago. I don't recall the makeup of this board currently, but when I was served on it, the Hyatt Hotel, several other hotels, a couple restaurants, and all they kept talking about was the amount of business they got when University of North Florida hosted the regional event. And every university on the East Coast that had athletes competing in the track meet regionally, they were housed in hotels throughout Northeast Florida. So I'm very confident that if this went to the board, and maybe I can call a representative up from UNF, I don't want to speak for them, December 9th. But if I'm hearing everybody correctly, the $3 million for the public use part is going to go through whatever we pass today. Through the chair to Councilmember Gay, you're asking for the other $3 million to be held off on voting until it goes before TDC. Is that what your ask is?
Through the chair, I was just putting it before the committee that we've got a board there that meets, and out of respect to that board, giving them the courtesy to be able to vote on it and just showing them the respect. That's all.
Mr. Chair, may I?
I had a question that goes along with that. I'm just curious because I haven't served, many of you have, I haven't served on TDC. How many other, I've heard about our role and who the chair is and the funding, but how many other board members are there? And, how does, to your point, if I sat on that board and I heard the council didn't give us a chance to at least just comment, even if it's, okay, we got it. You guys have every right to do this, to officially do it. That's my wonder, along the same lines of what Councilmember Gay is saying.
Great
So
question.
how many current other board members are there who haven't had a chance to weigh in?
Great question. And baseball practice starts at 6 o'clock tonight. So serving on that board, the CEO of the airport was on there as well. Many of them, when I was president that year, had a sentiment that their voices weren't heard. Okay, just full transparency. And it was my goal to empower them, and we did, and we grew from it. When Mr. Morrow came to speak before them, he knocked their socks off. He absolutely not, and I watched his presentation to this body, $13 million worth of ROI from the initial investment that the city has made into a public institution. So do I think that they'd be upset with us taking action before it? If I were a board member, I'd feel some kind of way. Do I think that they would understand? Possibly. But do I also want to make sure that this process treats everyone fairly? Ms. Brock, who's in the back, who was a former council ECA back in the day, knows this process well. The members that are presenting to us, as well as those board members. And that's why you find me in a position where I hear a colleague saying that he's got a little bit of heartburn with that board not having a voice. I'm okay voting for it right now and supporting it because I served on that board and I'm pretty confident of how that board is going to go forward. But I do want to hear from a representative from UNF, if someone's here that would like to come up real quick. And I don't make a habit of putting anyone on the spot, but I did the same thing with EWU, so I think it's also fair in this scenario here. Through the chair to Mr. Morrow, I know we're always dealing with timelines. And so if we're dealing with a situation with a timeline, I'd much rather go to the board with a letter of an apology and just say, hey, we're dealing with some crunch times here. My gut tells me that you all would have supported it. Or do you all see that you have a little bit of a runway that you can go and present to that meeting? And I'll kind of base my decision based off of what I hear from you all today.
Yeah, Nick Morrow, Athletic Director, through the chair, Mr. Freeman. There is a little bit of concern timeline when it comes to the field side. We haven't really discussed it too much, but there is an opportunity associated with the World Cup to bring a lot of tourism to the city of Jacksonville. Not a definitive, but without being able to move fairly quickly on the fields, it won't be possible at all.
Please.
Field is separate from what's going to TDC. Through the chair to Mr. Morrow, that is separate from what's going to TDC, correct?
I'm not sure that's really been defined. Like I know the $6 million, 3 to the fields, 3 to Hodges Stadium.
Got it. So my understanding through the chair to the auditors is what's going to Hodges Stadium is what's going to TDC. What's going to the fields, we'd be voting on and taking action on today. Am I correct in that, Mr. Peterson?
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, that's my understanding as well.
Is there anyone in the room that doesn't understand it that way? Ms. Stavopoulos or Ms. Michelle? I don't want to mislead them. So through the chair to Mr. Morrow, the field piece, when we vote today, if it's voted favorably, you would have that $3 million. The $3 million for the stadium. Are we dealing with any timelines on the stadium that pushing this out until the TDC meeting would cause some type of constraints and cost to go up even more so? Or are y'all amenable to maybe allowing TDC and the members there?
Yeah, the next big timeline we'd be looking at would be NCAA, the window to host the 2029 through 2032 NCAA championships. That window opens up in February. And so knowing where we're going to be with Hodges Stadium will dictate what events we put in for.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brock, do you mind coming up? Thank you, Mr. Morrow, for coming. Got it. And through the chair as well, through the chair to our OGC and to the auditors, this might be something that's in Councilmember Gay's lane as well. I know it's in my lane when it came to parking. Is this the appropriate time as well if we want to live local or something along those lines? When is the appropriate time to also add like local businesses, local contractors, local whatever? I want to make sure moving forward because with parking 4 years ago, I did not have that added to the RFP, and DIA just put an RFP out. And in the past, we had a group from Miami come in. We knew they couldn't do it. They just backed out, and that's why we got this. So just chew on that a little bit. You give me your name, and I'm so sorry I didn't do it earlier with Mr. Morrow. Can I get your name and address, please?
Carol Brock, Executive Director, TDC.
Thank you. Ms. Brock, thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us. You chair the TDC. I was not at the last meeting, and so my apologies for missing that. And I know that you are not able to speak on behalf of the body that you serve. What is the best way forward for us right now, from your experience with your board and your body in addressing this $3 million? And I don't know if I'm trying to leave it very open-ended to give you some wiggle room in the conference.
Through the chair, while you do not have to take it to TDC, I think it would be greatly appreciated. I can't speculate if they will support it at the $3 million level, but they certainly understand the impact that these infrastructure improvements can have on tourism.
Thank you. And through the chair to our auditors or OGC, if we send this to TDC at $3 million and they come back at $1.5 million, what recourse do we have now when we have a group that is taking bids to the national level at the $3 million amount, and then all of a sudden TDC only approves at 1.5, and we have a request from a council member for $3 million, or whoever made that request on the body for $3 million? What recourse do we have then? Because I want to make sure that if we send it to TDC, we're not setting ourselves up to now have a group that's getting partial funding and they can't complete a project.
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, so you're asking if you remove the $3 million from TDC as part of this legislation, pass it out Tuesday night, less the $3 million, ask TDC for their input, and they recommend only doing $1.5 million, you'd be short $1.5 million. I mean, I think it's that simple.
Okay, and then do we have any recourse? Because then there's another. We couldn't go back then and take another 1.5 in a piece of legislation, and we could, with 10 votes, we could do whatever, but it would push their timeline back, is what I'm hearing.
That's
if
correct.
They came back with anything less than that. All right, and thank you. All right, so through the chair to Ms. Brock, that is a concern. If they came back with less than 3, equally as concerning as it is us making a decision and them not having a say in it. My gut still tells me, through the chair to Ms. Brock, can you tell me the makeup of that board? How many hotel owners, I think y'all call them hoteliers or whatever, how many restaurateurs? Can you give us the makeup of that board real quick, just so my colleagues can understand the makeup of it?
Through the chair, the state statute actually tells us how every board member will be filling those spots. So we have the council president, the council vice president, typically the past president or someone on council that has an interest in tourism. We have, I don't have the whole list in front of me. We have a couple hotel general managers and owners. They are not lower staff people. They have the general manager and owner status. We have someone representing the restaurant industry. We have a gentleman that does works at Hannah Park, that has the outdoor adventures. I believe in addition to the 3 city council members, we have 6 others that are in the hospitality industry.
And through the chair to Ms. Brock, would you agree that those members get excited when opportunities are presented to them that bring people, tourists, to our city?
Through the chair, I left off Mr. Van Loo that you had mentioned earlier. But yes, to answer your question, that's the reason they serve.
Thank you. And I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head. I'm sure you don't have the document in front of you, but Mr. Morrow from UNF, you stated that $13 million since in the last 10 years of economic impact, 200 plus hotels, I think. Thank you, Ms. Brock. And that's what I want this body to take away is if we're bringing something to them that promotes tourism, that is indeed why they chose to volunteer on that board. So I'm 50-50 a little bit on it, but I agree with you. Taking a vote without giving it to them, it could be a challenge, but I'm really concerned with them coming back with less. Mr. Morrow, thank you, Ms. Brock. Mr. Morrow, and I'm closing, Mr. Chair. Can you just state, I watched on the screen, you looked amazing, but now I would like for you to look amazing and say it today. Can you give me those numbers again of what that investment was when we host regionals? And are we hosting regionals again? Are we hosting anything else again at that stadium and the economic impact from in the past?
Yes, sir. Through the chair. Yeah, just that NCAA East prelim alone is 12,000 room nights and $10 million every time we do it. And we're basically on a pattern of doing it every other year. We host it in 2025. We have it again in 2027. And then for the first time since we've done so well with that event, we are now hosting the 2028 Division II National Championships, which is one of the first, if not the first, NCAA national championship that's been hosted in the city of Jacksonville. And so, and we obviously anticipate a similar impact, if not more. And so our impact just continues to increase as we continue to invest in that facility.
Thank you. So if you think of Oregon, when you watch the track, I watch it all the time. We are basically the East Coast version of that. He also failed to mention, and I only know this because I parent high school basketball players and I'm married to a high school basketball coach. They are now hosting the FHSAA state championships, which are going to come in town. They also host Bob Hayes, which is a nationally recognized track meet that brings people from all over the country. So these are events that I think the board would definitely support. I do stand with you, Mr. Councilmember Gay, though, on the vote prior to, and I think I understood Mr. Morrow to say that they wouldn't have an issue with it. Is there any way we can craft legislation or language that says we're doing it, but we want your vote and support? We're just doing it so you could weigh in if you have any dissenting votes, but you can't reduce it. And I know we can't, so I'm more than likely to have to vote today. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go next to Past President Salem and then to the sponsor, Councilman Arias.
Guys, we need to vote on this today. We need to vote on this today. These people have been coming for weeks. We can't wait for TDC. If we wait for TDC, then we're looking at the end of January to pass this bill because we won't have another meeting. I'll go to TDC and explain it, but I'm sure Councilmember Carrico, President Carrico, Vice President Howland can explain it. The bill is baked. It's in the oven. It's been in the oven. We need to vote on this today. The bill is ready. We can't wait any longer on TDC and all that. They know it. The board members know what we're doing. No one's come here to express dissatisfaction with that. None of their board members have. I know them all. Several of us know them all up there. So we just need to vote. I moved the bill as substituted as amended a while back, and it was seconded.
Yeah,
I guess there's one more person here.
Your point, but we do need to respect the people who have gotten on the queue. So I get your passion for it.
My big concern is by waiting for TDC, you're delaying this for 2 months. That's what you're saying. So I just want everybody to understand that. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go next to Councilmember Arias.
All right, thank you, Chair. Councilmember Arias, last on the queue? No? Okay, all right. Yes, exactly to the point. Actually, it's not in the oven. It's out of the oven. We can smell it. We just can't eat it right now. And that's exactly where we're at. We've had similar issues with HIC in the past where we've actually tapped into HIC dollars without their approval because we've needed emergency beds. Homeless Initiative Commission. All right, and so this is nothing uncommon for us to take action. Once again, no disrespect and not to belittle any of the boards, but what they do is they make recommendations. We make the final choice. However, we could also make the determination before these recommendations. If we were to delay this, they meet December 11th, which is 2 days after our council night. So, like Mr. Salem said, we're gonna have to push this back to January 6th for our next committee, and then January 13th. So, I hear your concerns, Mr. Gay. I really do. But as Mr. Salem alluded to, we've been working on this for months, and nobody from the TDC has even came up here not supporting this part. So I think this is a huge win for all of us. So I'll stop there. I think we just need to move forward if there's no other speakers on the queue. Thank you.
All right, for the last time, Council Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are you not speaking at all? I know I don't see your name in the queue, but
I will, but I'm waiting for you all to wrap it up.
all righty. Thank you so much. And I want to be clear here, and I want to make sure I'm on the record. I was not a fan of this bill, not because of the bill's sponsor. There's just a lot of things in it that, for me and how I have filed legislation, it's just not how I best go about it. So I want to be clear when we talk about cake is baked, when we talk about how we've debated it. One, that's what we do in committee. We debate, we discuss. And it's a little disappointing when I feel as if we're trying to rush to an end on a topic. I really get frustrated with that. I get it on council nights. I don't get it on committees. I don't, and that's why I got back in the queue. I have worked with a lot of those folks sitting out there to get us to this point because I was a no. I was a no when this came. And when I start hearing this pressing, it starts to make me scratch my head and say, why are we pressing and rushing? That's what then pushes me into a corner again where I want to say no. And I've told those groups out there, a lot of them, this is not the first time they've heard it, that I will vote no against this unless I can get to a place where I'm comfortable. So I would hope that our attitude up here would be that if someone is not comfortable, if it does push us to January, and if they said that they were okay in January, then we should be okay in January. Now, I've also said that I'm not comfortable with them being able to reduce the amount in TDC. That's what got me to a place. But the pressing and the pressuring, at least with this council member, is not going to work. The debating, putting out a thoughtful argument, discussing why you feel that it's the best path forward will. And I have not heard that other than this bill is ready. It's not ready because we're moving things below the line. If this bill was ready, we would not be moving anything below the line. And so if we're truly operating in a posture of this bill is ready and we have to move something below the line, it would be deferred. So it can't be ready and move below the line. So I'm done venting. I really think that we should take a pause. If we need to discuss this another 30 minutes, we need to. And we need to make sure that Councilmember Gay is at a point where he is satisfied. I still think I'm short $200 and something thousand from making the group that I want to be a part of this process whole. And I was compromising until I felt pressured at the end. And that's very uncommon that I feel pressured at the end, but I'm feeling the pressure at the end. So I'm going to put the mic down for a little bit. I want to hear from the chair. We have not heard from the chair other than the very beginning in opening speech. And then once I hear from the chair, I'll be in a better posture to kind of determine where I would like to go.
Thank you. Some of the things, and well, before I make these comments, because Councilmember Gay has gotten on the queue and you referenced him, so I'm going to give him the opportunity to respond. Councilmember Gay.
All right, I'll be brief. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And basically my intent was to bring it out that we had a committee, a board we're pulling money from and them not having a chance to vote on it. So, you know, we've got members that are on the dais now that are on that board. I didn't hear any objections from them. So, you know, I'm comfortable in it that we've done our due diligence. We've had our discussions that the opportunity was put out there to have input from them, and I'm fine with where we are with this now to move it forward. I've had my discussions with meetings with UNF and in regards to your local business participation and Buy American, that was concerns that I shared with them and that they were going to go back into make sure that those issues were accounted for. So with that, you know, I'm fine with it. I know the TDC amount that just recently come into play, and so I know the bill's been filed for a long time, but the TDC aspect wasn't from the beginning. And so that came on at a short interval in the last. So that was my concern, to make sure that we're good there, so that we didn't make any issues there. So with that, I'm okay with it as it is, and so I'm fine to move on with it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We have one addition. Councilmember Boylan, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to go on record. I too am uncomfortable with the idea that we're moving these forward without the TDC board approval. That being said, I understand the reality of where we're going. Number two, just to be clear, the putting the $2 million of EW below the line is because of a concern that was raised today by OGC. So I think, once we can get that dispelled or secure as to public use, and I'm pretty comfortable that's going to be able to happen, we can get them on board. But the response to Councilmember Freeman's, this is not an unbaked bill, it's baked. And the only reason the $2 million is below the line is because of the new information that was brought forward today.
All right, thank you for that. I'm gonna provide some of my comments. Hey, this is part of the process, and so I get some people think, we just needed to move forward. This is part of moving forward, that everybody gets their opportunity to be able to voice their concerns, do their due diligence, look into any concerns that are there. We just heard some additional concerns from our legal representative. If that had been resolved, we wouldn't be, as was stated, moving anything below the line. It'd be moving through just as is, and it's not. And there were additional concerns voiced by Councilmember Gay, which, again, that's why we're here. Let's get that out. Let's have those discussions. Let's give everyone an opportunity. Now, I must agree, even though I made the comments about TDC, if someone felt so strongly, there have been opportunities to come forward and voice those. So even though I lean toward wanting to hear somebody say, put that below the line until after that meeting, we've heard, as long as I know by February, they're okay. But no one's doing that. And so given we've gone through this process and we haven't heard from anyone from TDC, I'm willing to support this, but only because, as I said in the beginning, I don't believe this bill should have been grouped as it was. I think it should have always just been a skilled workforce development bill, and then over here, a grouping of the universities that weren't directly related to skilled workforce development. It wouldn't have put people in the situation where they feel like they've got some concerns on one, but they have to vote for the whole thing. I'm just not a big fan of bundling, but I will say, again, as I've said before, Councilmember Arias has done a heck of a lot of work on this, and I want to respect that as well with all of the organizations involved. So again, this has been a long discussion, but for me, because the Jacksonville Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, the expansion project that this will be going towards, of adding an additional 20,000 total square feet of new classroom and hands-on lab spaces, adding 48 new apprentices through that program at a time, 8 to 10 new classrooms, all the other things that go along with this. It's going to make a real difference in addressing, along with NEFBA and along with FSCJ, that very real cliff that we're going off of in 5 years, when over 20% of our workforce is going to retire. And we need people in those pipelines, in those 3 areas and the other areas. So from my perspective, this is part 1. I think we need to go to part 2 in the skilled trades workforce development arena, and really reassess those numbers and make sure our developers, our ship repair industry, others that really need these welders, HVAC, electricians, all these others, we need to make sure what those numbers really are. And if we don't have enough young men and women in that pipeline, we need to be part of that solution to make that happen, because it's very real. They're going to the House. And so when this was included in today, that was enough for me to support this. But otherwise, I wouldn't have unless they were separated out. And I've been very clear about this. That's not a surprise. But because of these changes, because of the below the line and the discussions we've had about TDC, it may get a little frustrating, may take a lot of time, and I know ball practice is at 6, but sometime we have to go through this process. The rest of this should be pretty smooth, but that's my input. Thank you all for going through this, those in the audience. This has been a long haul, as Councilman Arias has pointed out, but the process continues to move forward, and I think that's the goal of almost everyone here. So, with that said, nobody else in the queue. Miss Michelle, we need a voice vote on the substitute as amended.
Yes, to the chair. The motion on the floor is substitute as amended. Do a voice vote on that, and if that's approved, then let me know if you want to roll it up into a rule substitute, and then someone can move that.
Okay.
Which is a ballot vote. The rule substitute is a ballot vote.
Okay. All those in favor of the substitute as amended, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Substitute as amended passes. Let's please roll those up. We have the introducer, Councilmember Arias. There's also Councilmember Freeman. You want to go first or last?
Last. I just want to speak after you guys vote.
Okay, Past President Freeman, please.
Thank you. I'm just asking if once everything passes, and I'm sure, as one of my colleagues said, that UEW will get cleared through, can we please get in writing what their clearance was? Just so I can make the case for UNF, I can make the case for FSCJ. I haven't heard the public use. I've just heard that there was a concern by our attorneys, and being in this space for a while, I'll learn that it's passed, and I'll never know what they determined was the public use. So I would just like that information in writing sent to my office, please. So I'll have that documentation. Thank you.
Okay. The sponsor and patient visiting council member Arias, please.
Right, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So have you guys voted yet or not yet?
No, we have not.
I was going to thank you guys, so why don't you vote first, and then I'll thank you, all right, before I speak too soon.
We better make sure then.
All right.
Okay, are we good with the roll-up, Michelle, and then voting?
To the chair, yeah, it's been rolled up, but someone needs to now move the rule substitute and second that.
We have a motion second on the rules substitute. No one else in the queue. Please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you approved 2025-0781 rules substitute. And we'll go to Councilman Arias, please.
All right, Chair. First of all, thank you all here at Rules. For me, while I didn't like having to defer this twice, I've said this many times. Sometimes when you put something out there that's good, you're blindsided. You're seeing just what's in front of you, and I'm thinking it's good. But we made this bill a lot better because of all of you guys, all the input, and honestly, the patience from all the different initiatives out there. We included the apprenticeship program as well into this. We've had legal concerns, but most importantly, one of the things that Ms. Carla Miller has also offered was in the new legal aspect of it, we've included JSEP participation as well into all this. So that to me was like one of the biggest wins. So I want to thank the administration, Ms. Carla Miller, for putting your work into it, and more importantly to all of you guys for being patient and to having the fortitude to see how good of a win this is for all of Jacksonville. So thank you all, and I hope that your vote continues next Tuesday night the same way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll go to item number 5, 2025-0811 is deferred at the request of Councilmember Arias. We've already taken up item number 6, and I've already deferred item number 7. We've already taken up number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which takes us to item number 15, 2025-0856. A motion second on the neighborhoods amendment. Anyone in the queue? So no one in the queue. We'll go first to, let's see, Ms. Carher? Is that correct? I want to make sure I got the right person who was explaining the amendment.
Yes, sir. Through the chair to the committee, the Neighborhoods Amendment revises the deadline for the 5-year strategic plan from December 31st, 2026 to October 31st, 2026, and it strikes the reference to March 1st, 2026 within Code Section 86104. This is just no longer needed with the extension. This particular date is no longer applicable.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Boylan, please, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just offered this amendment this morning. I think it was in response to the concern on the part of its members of the committee that this wasn't just moving fast enough, and by moving it up by a couple of months helps emphasize the fact that we have some sense of urgency on getting this work done. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else in the queue? Yes, you're on again. Past President Salem, please, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Peluso. There was some discussion at neighborhoods about the 1.8 million and getting that moving. And if somebody from OGC, there was some question of whether that's coming to the council for approval, or can they appropriate and sign contracts on their own? Can someone clarify that for me? Ms. Shell, or does that require, will it come to the council?
So through the chair to Councilmember Salem, I think Mr. Peluso wants to field this question.
Okay. I didn't realize he... Please, sir.
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, so that is correct. Anything that they appropriate has to go through us and has to go through our process. So Ms. McGillis was supposed to be here to kind of sit in. She's the resident expert. She had to run to... I don't think we knew how long the last item was going to be.
There is some confusion on this. So you've spoken to her recently?
Yes, as she was walking out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that was still hanging out there without a clear clarification. So thank you. Ms. Carher?
Through the chair to the committee, just to add some clarification, the $1.8 million that was appropriated as part of the current year budget is in a spendable line item. These funds are in the Homeless Initiative Special Revenue Fund, and there's language within the code for that particular fund that says, subject to appropriation by council, which the funds have been appropriated, the Director of Finance or designee is authorized and directed to make disbursements from the fund upon the written requisition of the Director of the department charged with overseeing the homeless initiative for which funding is sought. So just to add some clarity, I defer to OGC for their interpretation, but the 1.8 has been appropriated to a spendable line item.
Can I comment? It sounds like that the administration can approve those expenditures without coming to the council. That's how I interpret that. I'm not an attorney, and that's why I'm glad to hear you say that, but I'm concerned that you'll make sure that happens as the liaison to that committee.
Oh, yes, please.
Through Chair to Councilmember Salem, absolutely, especially for this first year. Like, it was always the intention that it would come back to us. However, it has been it's probably going to be within the strategic plan to hope that they get the ability to spend money on its own. But to certain levels, like, we do with some of our other special committees and commissions, that it will come back. It will not just be spent right out of their pot.
You might want to consider some legislation that would clarify that for the long term.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. It's good to trust, but at the same time, we're responsible for the oversight. All right, thank you. Anybody else here? I apologize. Just went blank there. Would you put us in a proper posture, Michelle?
To the chair. So the neighborhoods amendment has been moved and seconded. There's been some discussion, and if you are finished discussing, you could take a voice vote on that.
Okay, all those in favor of the neighborhoods amendment, please signify by saying yay. Those opposed, no. The neighborhoods amendment passes. We have motion and second on the bill as amended. Councilmember Peluso, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. And again, thank you for passing that amendment and for looking at this bill. So yeah, to the point of why we're even here, we've had to extend the strategic planning longer than what was anticipated. This is because of the processes that the HIC was having to live with, the procurement code that it was going through. Everything was a little bit bungled. It took longer than was anticipated. However, with the dollars that were appropriated this year, in that 1.8 million, they intend to fully fund this plan and get the person on board in the next couple of weeks. In doing so, we'll start that planning process. It'll be done within 8 months. But to remind everyone, this was a charge that the city council gave them. We said, you will give us a strategic plan. So I just didn't want anyone to think like, oh, they got to spend those dollars immediately and do all these different things. While they do have a plan for how to spend those dollars now, the expectation has always been that the HIC's main task and purpose is to create a long-term plan and solution for the housing crisis and homelessness issue that we have here in the city of Jacksonville. So this is not meant to be a commission that's only trying to plug holes. It's meant to find a holistic long-term approach to make sure that we as a body, on a policy side and on a funding side, know exactly how to solve these problems. So I also didn't want people to start asking questions about like, well, why do we even need a strategic plan? This is because we specifically tasked them with that as their first thing that they need to do as a body.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? If not, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0856 as amended in neighborhoods. Item 16, 2025-0866 is on second, as are 867, 869, 872, 876, 877, 878, 879, 880, 881 are also on second, and then takes us to 26, 2025-0882. Have a motion and second on the emergency. Ms. Carroll, would you please explain the emergency?
Through the chair to the committee, the nature of the emergency is that the bill sponsor would like to ensure that this organization is able to proceed with the program subject to the revised term sheet prior to the end of the calendar year or as soon as possible.
Okay. See no one in the queue. All those in favor of the emergency, please signify by saying yes. All those opposed, no. And the emergency passes. I have a motion second on the bill as emergency. No one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0882 as an emergency. Takes us to item number 27, 2025-0884. There is a matter on this I want the committee to hear, even though it's on second, but I want the committee to hear. Ms. Hamsey, please.
Through the chair to the committee, Mr. Abner Davis is being appointed by the council president to the Jacksonville Retirement System Board of Trustees, and per Chapter 50 on the second reading of such items, to establish substantial economic interest in the city if the person is not a Duval County resident. So Mr. Davis lives in Clay County, lives in Orange Park, but he is the vice president, the regional vice president for Primerica Financial Services, where he's been for many years, and his office is on San Jose Boulevard in Council District 6. So because of that and his previous history of service, he served on the True Commission 10 years ago and was heavily involved with the CPAC before he moved to Orange Park. Because of those things, we think that that's a substantial economic interest.
Thank you. Michelle, do you need anything from us on that? That's been established, but do we need to officially take any type of voice vote or anything on that so it goes through?
To the chair, you don't need to do any kind of voice vote. If there's general consensus that you believe this has established a substantial economic business interest, then I think that's sufficient.
Yeah, I believe Ms. Hampsey has articulated that. Anyone think otherwise? Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. And with that, unless anyone has anything else? Councilmember Freeman.
Great meeting, Mr. Chair. Tough topics to this committee. Thank you all for your hard work. As usual, we get tough, we get at it a little bit, and we leave here friends. So thanks so much.
Thank everyone,
That's you,
members, staff, everyone who came. Thank you all. Have a great night. We're adjourned.